beer and kick it back. It's the Laid Back and Lazy Podcast.
The Brew Heron Brewery. Mike and Ben, guys, welcome to the Laid Back and Lazy Podcast.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Special guest.
Yes.
And we have a special guest. My brother's here, so he's a fan of beer, so we decided to have him tag along.
What's up, Wayne?
He's a fan of beer,
Absolutely.
Who is it?
Absolutely. That's right.
but we have some here for you, Wayne.
So
They're warm, room temperature for you.
So we have some
tepid,
beers out here, and I want to get in and talk to that. But the biggest thing that I've always wondered, so if you don't know, if you haven't been able to get out and see Laid Back and Lazy play at the Brew Heron, you need to, because this is our favorite spot to play. Not only because of the beer, but because of the fact that it's a cool place. The atmosphere is amazing, and these are two cool cats right here. So,
Beautiful building,
yeah,
beautiful
amazing.
backdrop. They make their own brew.
Yes.
The menu's fantastic. They
Amazing.
treat us great, and we love it here.
Well,
So,
the sound you guys bring just fits in perfect here.
That's awesome.
We appreciate that.
It's the true definition of laid back and lazy. And, when you guys lay it down, people, they knock a few more back, and so it's
a
good.
win-win.
It's a
We had-
win-win.
Yeah.
we had people dancing at 3 o'clock on a Saturday.
That's it. We
a
did.
month ago, right?
Yeah.
Right
We
out
did.
here, which
Yeah.
is
The patio
fantastic.
parties are amazing.
Yeah.
it's-
Well, we appreciate
beautiful.
you guys. We appreciate you having us
Yeah.
come back. Do you remember years ago me walking in here and basically cold calling on you?
Sure.
You do?
Sure.
Okay. Wanting to play. I walked in
Okay,
here.
yeah.
You weren't even open yet. I don't think you had a grand opening date. And I'm in here giving them my spiel. We're laid back and lazy. We play. I grabbed your card. I was like, Mike Piazza, is that how you say your last name?
Yep.
I was like, Hall of Fame baseball player? Are you kidding me? He now owns a brewery?
In Medina.
In Medina?
That I read and thought of the
Of course,
Hall of
yeah.
Famer right away. I'm sure you
course.
get that plenty of times.
Well, you're the first today.
Today.
Right.
So you're the brewmaster
Correct.
and you're the chef.
That's correct.
Okay. So just for you, for example, just take me back. I think AJ mentioned to me that you started brewing at home, right? So
Yeah.
give,
What's
give
your
us your story.
background?
Give
and
us
how
your
did
story.
you get to this point now? Like, where did you start?
We'll talk to Ben about his chef
Then we'll
creativity.
combine the two. Then we'll kind of know the story.
Sure. So, I guess 10,000-foot view. Raised in the food business. That was my family business growing up. So I gained a knowledge of food and ingredients doing that. After college, jumped into the business and started messing around with European and delicacies, getting into oils and pâtés and stuff. And that's when I started, messing around with it, tasting it, and gaining a palate. Decided that business wasn't for me. I wanted to learn how to cook.
Okay.
Moved out to San Diego, just jumped into kitchens, refined my craft quite a bit, and was able to land my first chef gig back here in Cleveland, brought it back home. Ran kitchens for about 9 years, and that's when my then girlfriend and I were getting serious. I was gone all night, she was gone all day, so we had to make some changes. Started teaching some cooking classes, put out a line of products for retail, and then I had an opportunity with my then brother-in-law to get into decorative concrete, which fits right along the same line.
Yeah, that works perfectly.
Yeah, it just goes hand in hand.
Hard left turn.
Yeah.
Right.
So you developed a palate for concrete. Is what you're saying.
Right. So about that time, I jumped into that business with him. My wife had bought me my first kit to brew beer at home. I just talked about doing it, brewed it, didn't know what the hell it was. Turned out well. It tasted great. It was an English ESB, an English bitter. I thought it tasted good, and then found out about a homebrew club. So I brought it to these guys, and they're like, "Man, you did pretty well with this."
Oh,
And
yeah.
I go, "Oh, all right, cool."
Yeah.
They go, "You might want to enter competitions." I go, "There's competitions for this shit?"
Really?
Yeah. So I entered a competition. Luck of the draw, I did pretty well with it.
Was it a bitter again?
It was a bitter. That was
Okay.
it. Was that beer, that first beer I
Oh,
brewed.
you said,
yeah.
why change the formula? Why mess it up?
Right.
These guys like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Great,
got to
yeah.
thinking, I'm all right. Well, I've got these base malts, these character malts. What are these other ingredients I can start messing around with? So then I started studying recipes, and while I was grinding concrete all day, I got a respirator on and ear protection, so I
Yeah.
can't talk to anybody. So I just started downloading podcasts. how to taste beer, how to judge beer, just how to do different. The brewing network was huge.
And here you are on your
rise.
first podcast.
Here I am on my first
Full
podcast.
circle.
Yeah,
First,
amazing.
Talking about your beer.
Yeah.
that's
That's
pretty
right,
cool.
yeah.
yeah.
So go ahead. I mean,
That's all right. So fast forward another 7 or 8 years, I stuck with the homebrew club, just started throwing money at the hobby. Then I met our other partner, Bill, and he was building a house across the street from me. Got to know him. He's in the food business, so we hit it off right off the bat. One night down in my basement, I got 9 beers on tap downstairs, and we're about 12 deep. And he goes, "Man, I don't know much about beer, but these flavors are clean." He goes, "You ever think about going into business for this?" And I go, "No, never."
Really?
No, never.
I love concrete too much.
Right.
Concrete is too awesome.
I want to stick
I
here.
have a promising
grinding
career.
concrete.
This is my future. So we put our heads together. That was 2017, and Ben had been with him for 20 years at that point.
Okay.
And he had recently acquired this building and wanted to do something different.
Really?
Brought his Top Gun Ben over, and I started rolling at that point, looking into systems, meeting pro brewers, and
Yeah.
snowballed from there. And that was the best way to ruin a hobby.
Yes. Hey, we understand that.
You're right.
Our hobby's always been playing music and just talking to people. So here we are.
Nice.
Yeah, but you did exactly what we do. We take feedback. People don't like what we're doing, we change.
Sure.
Yeah.
Your feedback was from people, hey, this is great. And you're thinking to yourself, I'm just jacking around in my garage, right? But the feedback was, hey, you wanna make a business out of this.
Yeah.
And that was pretty quickly. How many years after your first microbrew kit until that conversation with Bill?
7 or 8 years.
7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
pretty quick.
That's
Yeah.
a college education.
It is.
True.
It's a doctorate.
True.
In brewing, if you think about
My
it. It really is. You spend that much time, and I'm sure you have friends that enjoy beer, and I enjoy cooking. So that's one of my hobbies.
no, you do.
You couldn't tell by looking at me. I need to spend more time with these guys to learn how to do it right. But, I just got into smoking last year, so I'm smoking
nice.
a bunch of stuff. But I'm always experimenting,
Yeah.
giving them to friends and whatnot, and it gets better each time
Yeah.
or worse, and then I go back to what I should have been doing.
I've
right?
had beef jerky a couple times from you.
Yeah, big time. I've been doing beef jerky for quite a while. That's actually a secret family recipe. It's our beef jerky. But yeah, so I mean that's pretty cool how you came out of that, was doing that, and then the concrete, and then it's like, okay, it's time to blow it all up.
yeah.
So that's where this guy comes along. So Ben, what
Exactly.
happened?
Bill introduces you to his Top
His
Gun,
guy, yeah.
His Top Gun.
and we know a little bit about Ben, but let's tell the people.
Yeah, so I started when I was 15. I grew up in Geauga County, and actually in Montville Township, ironically enough, and now we're
Yeah.
here in Montville Township. There's 2 in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And
Tiny town, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How many people again? We were talking about this.
There were 32 in my graduating class.
That's right.
So
That's what we talked about.
you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, the marina where our family docked our boat, our dock partner bought the restaurant.
Yeah.
And I was 15, and he's like, "Hey, why don't you come cook for me?" And I was like, "Cooking? What? No,
Yeah.
no."
You're 15.
Right.
You're like-
So that was my first job, and I just fell in love with it, man. I got the bug, and we were going to Super Kmart at 2:00 in the morning buying groceries, and it
Yeah.
was just he and I, and we'd catch a nap on the bench for a couple hours, wake up, hit the boaters in the morning, getting out for charters and all that. And,
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I did that whole summer, and then I found out I could go to culinary school, and I didn't have to go to real college. And it was only 18 months. I was like, hell, I can do that.
Yeah.
18 months versus 4 to 6 years.
Right,
Yeah.
right. My
Absolutely.
parents said I had to do something, and I found out I could do that.
So
And I
in
was like,
18 months, I'm out of school. I don't have to do nothing.
correct.
Yeah.
I just want to work.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to work. And
Well, you were hustling at 15.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, I just stayed in kitchens all through high school, and then through culinary school, I went to Pennsylvania Institute of Culinary Arts in downtown Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Lived down there for a couple years. I did my internship at Pinehurst Country Club in North Carolina. Stayed
Been there.
Stayed on there. It's beautiful
It
down
is.
there. Oh,
Yeah.
God, I love it.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Stayed on there for a few years after my internship, and then moved back home. That's when I met Bill, our third partner, and worked for him for I don't know, 3 or 4 years. And then I had an opportunity to go to D.C. and Baltimore and run fine dining restaurants down there. Stayed down there for 10 years. Stayed in touch with Bill. He actually catered my wedding in Ohio. And then moved back up, 7 years ago now. And he and I always wanted to do something together. We knew we were going to do something. And he purchased this, met Mike, and the rest is history.
That's crazy.
So Bill is the glue.
Bill is the glue, yeah.
Bill brought this partnership together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which is cool to think about, just relationships, right?
Oh.
You never know. Like it was just his neighbor, but they had something in common, which was food,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He loved your beer, introduces you to him. Here we are at the Blue Heron.
But I do have to ask this. First time you tried his beer, honest opinion.
I hated it.
Did you really?
I didn't drink craft beer at all. And
Seriously?
now my favorite beer is the biggest stout he can make.
Really?
Yep.
This dude went from Bud Light,
Yep.
I was about to say.
Imperial Stouts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you're like,
there is a
we're going to
huge
go into
difference.
business with this guy and he's making crap beer?
Yeah.
Is that
well,
what you were thinking?
no,
or?
I didn't think it was crap beer. It wasn't my jam. I just
You were
didn't
just
like it.
like,
I just
I don't know if I
I don't.
Bud Light, Miller Light, Coors
Yeah.
Light.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
I
with
just
you.
and
Yeah.
man, he introduced me to that benefit of the stout. He's like, "You got to try this," and I'm like, "Oh God, really?" Like looking at it, I'm like, "Holy shit, that's good."
Yeah.
And now I have 2 on tap in my garage.
There you go.
That's
There you
great.
go. So, interesting thing, West Coast, East Coast flavors together. That's what is that what the menu came from, or how did that?
I mean, we talk a lot about menu when we sit down and change the menu and stuff, and we all have influences in it. He's throwing his idea. It's so nice because Bill's got a chef background. He's got a chef background. I got a chef background. Right. And then we get, we have a pub chef. We have a banquet chef. We just all sit down and start throwing out ideas, and everybody's got their own little twist, and then we make it, and then we change it 10 more times before it actually goes on the menu.
Yeah,
Variety.
The best thing
changes.
about having that many, outlets for feedback is, these guys, they're shot. They've been burning it, at both ends all week. They're like, God, what special you want? And something will pop in my head. They're like, oh yeah, because they're just fried.
Right.
It's been overthought all week long. And Ben will come up with something, and then little Ben will come up with something. And it's like, it's nice having all these guys just for ideas.
Creative, changing often.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Keep the menu
yeah.
fresh.
Yeah. Well, and since COVID, we started doing paper menus, so we change our menu all the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if something, we print our menu every day, so if something's not selling, we take it off, put something else on.
Yep.
Try it.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
best part is you've got great beer to pair the food with, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you probably keep that in mind, obviously. Keep
Oh,
it
yeah,
in mind,
for sure.
Is that on the menu yet? If you're going to have this dish, you might want to pair it with a crisp lemon zip.
Our menu is so turkeyed in with content right now.
Yeah.
we are working on creating some more
Eventually,
space
yeah.
for that. Yeah,
Oh, really?
But
Gotcha.
we use some of the beers and sauces, and the beer cheese for the pretzel. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
We implemented into some of the recipes.
We
but-
did a mussel dish last weekend with the CLZ.
Yeah.
And,
Oh,
the,
wow.
and the broth. So
Well,
it's-
there
Oh,
you
that
go.
sounds really good.
yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So-
what about you guys?
Yeah.
What about the background with you guys? Is music always been a part of you guys? How did you guys come together?
Well, it's funny that you asked. That is
It's a good question.
similar. It's a similar story, I guess, in a way of how ironic. There was a neighbor involved. So, and she actually is a regular here. She comes and watches us all the time. So, how I'll jump in here if I'm getting this wrong because his memory's probably better than mine.
You guys married
But,
or what?
no, no. My wife would say so probably. But so we were both at one time in our lives down doing Nashville. We were songwriters in Nashville, right? So I can just tell my side of the story. I was there. Was almost a decade, whatever. Was doing writing for publishers. Had a publishing deal. Had a couple misses trying to get stuff on the radio. It just never happened, and eventually just had to come back. Some family stuff. Wanted to be around family. All kinds of things happening. So I moved back. I moved to Chatham. And over my mom's visiting, and my cousin and I, he came up from Texas and was visiting. He's like, hey, he grew up in this area too. And he's like, hey, let's go to Brunswick. There used to be the Chinese restaurant right over there in that shopping plaza right by the old Kmart.
Sure.
I can't remember I can't remember what it was, but
was that the
House of China or something
Golden
like that.
Dragon.
Just
Odds are that's probably correct.
make it sound like an evil person from one of the Marvel movies. And
Right.
That's the restaurant, right? So we went there to just get a bunch of Chinese food for everybody to come back, so we didn't have to cook or anything. And we're standing in line there, and my cousin, he was a part-time comedian, and he's just a riot. So we're walking up, and we're always goofing around, and he's like, "Okay, you be the straight man, and I'm just going to be some guy from New York, and I've never ordered Chinese food." And I'm like, "Okay." So we walk in there, and we're standing in line. He gets up to the line, and the lady's standing there. She's like, "What you want to order?" And he's like, "What's this thing, this poo-poo platter? Who the hell is a poo-poo platter? I don't know what a poo-poo platter is." And he's doing this whole bit, and he's turning around looking at me, and I'm like, I don't know, because I'm supposed to be the straight guy. And I'm like, "I don't know, you need, and I'm doing that, And she's like so confused, and we do this whole thing just for our entertainment.
Right.
That's what it was for.
Right.
So she walks back to go get the order after we were completely confused and not understanding what's happening. A woman behind us looks over at my cousin. She goes, "Where are you from?" And he goes, "Kentucky." Because he grew up in Kentucky, grew up here, and then moved to Texas. So he's got the Kentucky accent. He's like, "From Kentucky?" And she's like, "Oh, you should be famous. You should be a comedian and everything like that." And he turns around and he goes, "No, this guy here, he just moved back from Nashville. He should be famous or whatever." And she goes, You came from Nashville?" And I said, "Yeah, songwriter." And she goes, "My neighbor's a songwriter. You got to meet him." So I said, I had one of my old business cards, so gave it to her. And a week later, this guy
Get
calls
out
me.
of here! Really?
Wow.
That's how that happened.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Wow.
So this guy calls me.
When
and,
was that?
2013. I just looked it up. September 2013.
Wow.
Yeah.
Detailed over there.
Well, I was
If
curious.
he asked me when was that, I'd be like, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
2010?
He never remembers our anniversary.
Last year.
Last year.
But I mean, that's the story. And then we just started. We got together to just
Writing songs.
Yeah, we were playing each other our songs that we wrote. Funny thing is, when we were in Nashville, we hung around similar circles and never met.
Never crossed paths.
No.
We
Wow.
started talking about people we knew. And, "Oh yeah, I know him. I know
I was
him."
there for a couple years,
Yeah.
and then came back for family too. But then we started writing songs, which was fun, recording them. And I was like, I think I had a gig at Mapleside, and I was like, "You want to play?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And we started getting gigs from there. And like I said, I cold called on you, trying to get gigs. And my house is right around the corner. So I was like, this would be brilliant if we could get a standing gig there, and it worked out.
Yeah, it worked out real well. So, but yeah, it's so a similar story. We were both, we both were in the same kind of industry because he was playing. He learned in college. He won't tell you this, but he was an all-American linebacker in college, and he got injured, and that's how he started playing guitar.
Almost got drafted, but I have a bum knee. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I ran like a 4.740.
Wow.
You're not playing in the pros running a 4.740.
hey, you could beat Brady though. You were faster than Brady.
Yeah, I was for sure.
There you go.
That doesn't work at linebacker though.
What made you were an
You'd be in
All-American.
trouble.
So yeah, I mean that's how we came about, and then just started looking at the different places around that we could play at, and it just so happens we both are in Medina County, so this place worked out, and a lot of times we choose where we play just like places choose us. So we try and people that appreciate the laid back and lazy style.
Sure.
I mean, we came up with that name thinking, what are the lowest expectations we can come up with? Because because we had both been through the ringer. I'd been through bands, he had been through bands, and that's like being married to 3-4 people. That's why we were just doing a duo. And when we look for places to play or we find places to play, it's management who likes to just have our kind of style, plus the audience. You guys have a great following here. The people that come here are just great people from the community. And we've actually met a lot of different people. One of our buddies, Gandalf, we met here. Right. Mike Gandalf, and so the atmosphere here is and management is the reason we're here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Biggest thing.
So let's get back to the brewery here. We got the backdrop of the brew house, the brew section. We've got 4 different flavors of beer on the table. You wanna kind of talk about them?
Sure.
Each of these right now, they're all available. Obviously, on tap. You can buy individual kegs. You can buy cans.
Most definitely.
Okay.
So, give or take, we've always got about 16 different beers on tap.
Okay.
These 4 you see here, these are the 4 that we've chosen to push for the retail market, which is something we got into during COVID.
Yeah.
COVID came around, we shut down. Guess what? I'm sitting on a shit ton of beer.
Yeah.
Let's get some canning going.
Yeah.
Try to get it out there. So we've, it's been a little learning process with canning volumes and what people are going to want and getting it out there, but we're slowly hitting the road with this. So we've got CLZ, which is a lemon lager for summer. That's a really good beer, easy crusher.
Okay.
Our house IPA, we've got a cream ale that's brewed with dry roast coffee and French vanilla.
Oh, wow.
And then we've got our Hazy Wife, Hazy Life, which is a hazy IPA. That's,
Which is our staple, and everybody comes for
yeah,
it.
that's our biggest beer by far.
What a great name.
Yeah. So we also have, like you said, we've got sixtels and halves available of anything, and we got a crowler machine, so anything on tap, we can can up for you, and you can take it home to go.
Oh, that's
Awesome.
great.
Yeah.
That's good to
You
know,
want to talk
too.
about? You want to talk about how you came up with that name?
Hazy Wife, Hazy Life. It's almost similar to how you guys came up with your name. I was trying to think. Beer names come to me at the weirdest times. Whether I'm just waking up or I got a few in me or whatever.
Yeah.
My wife has always been an IPA snob.
Okay.
She never was, but as my beer was getting better, as I was a home brewer, she's like, I could always tell. She'll never give me a negative comment, but I could always tell when it's good or when it's not.
Okay. Yeah.
So she'd drink it, she'd go, yeah, that's good.
yeah.
And I know, didn't hit the
We
mark.
get the same way with songs.
right.
Same thing. Same idea.
So
yeah. That was interesting.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
well, you guys are getting creative there.
Very creative.
So I'd never brewed a hazy until I turned pro, and that was my first go at that. And she drank it, and she's like, "This is really good." And I'm like, "Hazy wife, hazy wife, hazy life." That got a ring to it. So it's taken off, And when I'm at the store, making deliveries, I'll see people look around. I'll stick around to see what they're choosing, and I see them reading labels. I go, hazy wife, hazy life. Like, that's hilarious.
And they got to get it, right?
But it's good because there's always something that's got to catch your eye because it's so competitive out
Sure.
there.
Right.
So that's our number one beer, and it's doing really well for us.
Where are you in retail space? What?
So we're just getting out. We self-distribute. There's Grab and Go here in Medina, Marathon up on 18. We've got 3 or 4 stores down in Wadsworth, restaurants.
River Styx Market.
River Styx Markets. Corkscrew's got it on tap.
Sully's, Galaxy, Spunkmeyer's.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's all
It's
over.
taken
Yeah.
off then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you need a couple sales guys to
Nice.
help you
Nice.
ramp it up a little bit, we know a couple.
We know how to sling beer.
I'm just kidding.
I do have an idea for you guys, though. If you come up with a nice tropical brew, put a red label on there. Maybe it's the laid back and lazy beer. I'm just saying is all.
We can make that happen.
That could be
there
an
you go.
interesting,
Yeah.
maybe a summertime. It only comes around the summertime like us,
Sure.
You sweat a little bit when you watch us, Sweat a little bit when you're drinking it. I'm just spitballing.
Right, yeah. Shameless plugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like
Shameless.
I have to do that.
Tell us about the menu. What's happening?
Man,
Any kind of changes?
our menu is literally all over the place.
Okay.
There's no real theme to it. I pride myself on fresh, clean flavors. I want everything's made from scratch. We don't buy anything.
Mm-hmm.
All our sauces, all our dressings, all our everything, and we just come up with an idea and run with it. If it works, obviously we change seasonally. We try to stick with seasonal flavors and seasonal items. If I can get it in fresh, we'll play with it.
Yeah.
Doesn't always go, but
Yeah. And each of us have different ideas of when you think of a dish. My passion is Mexican and Southwest.
Yeah.
Alex up in the kitchen, he's got a little Mediterranean flair to him. Ben's all over the board because he's cooked everything all over the board, so he pulls from everything. So when ideas come up for dishes, it's fun. Like I said, like we bounce ideas off each other, and like something he's thinking about that I'm not thinking about. It's like, oh yeah, that jams. Let's do that.
Yeah.
And it's nice too because when we create a dish, we all taste it, and he's like, maybe a little more acid, and this guy says, maybe a little more salt, and then we start pulling it together, and it's like, oh, okay. Then we come up with something that's really good.
Yeah. So what's your favorite thing on the menu? Do each of you have your own favorite that you just constantly are whipping up?
Changes, doesn't it?
Or does it? Yeah.
You know what? At this point, it's whatever's new.
Right.
You
get burned out from it.
We get so burned out on what's coming out.
Yeah.
Something new because I was like, yeah.
His is a calzone right now.
Yeah, it's hot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So also I wanted to ask you guys this. So we have the brew here, we have the brewery here, and then we have the restaurant, bar, patio, all this. But we also have the event center.
That's right.
We do.
Weddings, and I mean this is an amazing spot for weddings. You guys have the rooftop. You have like pictures here are just incredible. So can you talk about that and what you guys are doing, the future of it, kind of what's going on? I see some construction stuff going on.
Lots of catering.
Yeah.
Lots of
going on too.
I mean, we have the main ballroom, which is about 350 people. And then on the third floor of this space, we have another room, the Heron Room, which is about 120. A lot of smaller weddings, second weddings, showers, birthday parties, things like that. Yeah. We have the terrace that's right above us here. That's just, I mean, the views at night. I mean, you guys know, you know, it's awesome. And I mean, we have a ton going on, and then we still have the second floor to finish, which would be another banquet space for a couple hundred. And then the pipe dream is the tee box over here one day, and put another wedding site over there. So we've got 2 amphitheaters right now. So we can do 2 weddings at a time now. We're hoping to get to 4.
Yeah, both amphitheaters are cool.
Yeah, I haven't. Maybe after we're done, we can get a little tour. You guys can show us around.
For sure.
I haven't seen everything. That'd be really neat. Yeah.
I think for the Brew Fest that we're about to talk about, I think we're going to play out in one of the amphitheaters here, close to the patio.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited about that. Yeah. More than just the beer. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, without a doubt.
How many people were?
Is it the first annual Medina? First annual Medina Brew Fest.
So it's the Medina Passport Brew Fest. Yeah.
Medina Passport Brew Fest. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I think that's the name we came up with. Was that it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many breweries are involved with yourselves in the Brew Fest?
8.
There's 8 different breweries, all from this.
All in Medina County.
All Medina County.
Yeah.
So everybody's teaming together. It's like the Avengers. of beer. It's getting together here. So. Yeah. So you guys are like what, Iron Man or Captain America? If you had to pick, who would you guys be?
They're not going to tell us.
They're not going to tell us. They don't want to. They don't want to admit it.
No, we're fortunate that we have the space to be able to accommodate something of this size. Yeah. Most guys, whether they're conjoined in a building with someone else or just don't have the space to do it.
Yeah.
So with the capabilities we have out there, we're going to put every brewery's going to have a little setup. Offer 2, 3, 4 of their beers. Of course, our beers are going to be flowing inside. We'll have a stand outside as well, but it's just kind of it's good to get back to something that's like a festival. Walk around, sample some beers, hear some great music. Just enjoy the day.
And the timing on this, you guys, was it accidental? The timing on this, because we didn't know COVID was coming to an end. It could have went another year or 2. Was this a luck thing, or that you guys decided to do this, or was it somewhat calculated? This should be over by then. I mean.
We were hoping. I mean, it was kind of a luck thing, but we also, we figured by the end of summer.
Yeah.
So the passport runs for June, July, and August. You hit every brewery twice, get a stamp in your book, 2 stamps from each place, and then turn your book in. That gains you entry into the fest, and it'll get you a sampler glass with two beers from each place.
Okay.
And then after that, there'll be more available to purchase. We'll have food. We'll have a couple bands. I don't know. You guys may have heard of one of them.
Yeah, we might have. We heard that they're kind of lazy and they show up a little late.
Right. But it's going to be. I mean, we're hoping for 700-800 people is our goal, and just have it all over the property. And we're going to shut down the pub that day. And
where can people get the passport?
Yeah, so if we're beer lovers, how do we get the passport?
On your website?
At any of the 8 breweries, stop in. They got stamps, they got books. Just say you want to jump on while you're there. drink your first two. They'll give you the stamp, then just move on to your next.
Okay.
So is there like a fee to get in, or you just do
Nope.
it?
Nope, you just do it.
You just say, I want to be involved.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
No. I want to be involved.
So each brewery is going to have their own tent,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Outside.
Yeah.
People just visit, go from tent to tent,
Yep.
get hammered.
Yep.
Yeah. This is going to be
It's
really
good.
cool.
Yeah.
And an annual.
September?
The idea is an annual thing, right?
That's what we're hoping for.
Yeah, I mean,
For
we
sure.
hope to grow it.
So
You
who's,
said, oh,
go
go ahead. I was going to say you said September 13th.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Was that the?
I
Yeah.
feel like we should know this.
No, we'll, yeah, wait a minute. I think you said the 13th, and I might be wrong. We'll check the calendar when we're done, and we'll post it correctly. But the 13th, and then the rain day is the 19th.
I could have swore, it was something like
12th
that.
and 19th.
12th
12th
and
and
I was
19th.
close,
Yeah.
man. I was close.
Close.
All right, September 12th.
Nobody wants to have a festival on a Monday.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
September 12th, here at the Blue Heron Brewery is going to be the first annual Medina Brew Fest.
Yeah.
Be here.
Yes.
Yeah, be here for sure. We're going to be here, so you need to be here.
Yep. And we're as of now the only way to get admitted into the festival is to complete the passport. We're not going to just sell tickets or anything like that.
Have
you-
to complete the passport.
So you got to get
Yep.
get involved today. Today.
We're going to get that
June
out there.
1st.
June
We're gonna-
1st. June 1st.
Yeah.
June
Almost today.
Yeah.
Correct.
About a week. About a week to go.
Okay.
So, as far as the Brewfest goes, isn't there? So, who's kind of? Is there someone else that's involved with that? That's kind of heading that up, or is that just all the breweries getting together and putting it together?
It's all of us getting together. We've had a handful of meetings that we've bounced around, and put our heads together on how we think this thing's going to go. There's still a lot of work to do, but we've all kind of collaborated and found a middle ground that everyone's going to be happy with. It's going to be great exposure for everybody involved, and should be good.
800 people.
It's going to be.
Did you figure out the parking yet?
We're working on it.
Yeah.
We're working on
You
it.
had some ideas. There's going to be a lot of people here.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of
Yep.
people here. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
We might be using your front yard.
That's good. I offered it. You're
Yeah,
more than
it's
welcome
there.
to do it.
You've got plenty of room there
That
for
could fit
parking.
probably,
Yeah.
I don't know, 70, 80 cars in there.
Yeah. Down the road. You know what?
Be careful what you offer.
Hey, I'm telling you, it's yours.
We could get
It's yours.
this. We could get a side by side and we could shuffle people
Yeah.
back and forth.
We've got a couple golf carts.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a contract and some stipulations about my.
We'll pay you in beer. I know
I was
your
going to say,
contracts.
something tells me
You
he needs
do,
to make
you
room
do.
in his garage
You do.
for that
Yeah.
contract.
Carry a rider.
Right?
So let's talk about music real quick. You guys, you spend a lot of time in the West Coast. You've been a lot of time in the East Coast here. So where is your musical tastes, and where does that align, and how do we fit into it? Or we may not. We may be like that bitter beer that Ben first tasted. And
Sure.
We're kind of growing
Mike,
on
let me,
you.
Let
you
me
know?
ask you. You were out in San Diego. You said.
Yeah.
You ever been to Java Joe's?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever catch Jason Mraz there live?
I didn't know. When I was out there, I was working 3 jobs just to stay alive. I was working lunch at this place called Dakota Grill right in downtown San Diego.
Okay.
Working dinner at Tupelo, and then I was even selling clothes at Eddie Bauer just to try to make it happen.
Yeah.
In my off time, I was throwing frisbee golf, and
Good for
that's,
you.
That's
but
about
hustling,
it.
right?
Yeah.
Musical influence. Growing up, it was all oldies on the radio with my parents.
So Motown stuff?
Little Motown stuff.
Okay.
Old 98.5, what was on, early rock back then. Got into, foundations of rap, Run DMC, Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
Grew into that. Grew more and more as I grew up. When I was in school, I wanted to get into the music industry. I did an internship for 1 season at Blossom
Okay.
in their marketing department,
Nice.
which was a great opportunity. Just ran around there for a season, met a bunch of bands, caught a bunch of live shows.
Oh, great.
It was then that I started getting into the roots of reggae, and that's where my jam lies now. Old ska, old grassroots kind of stuff. But it's kind of all over the board. The only thing I prohibit from coming on my speakers is Rush and Phil Collins.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. We hear you, man. Yeah.
Bob Marley,
Bob Marley, without
Oh,
a
yeah.
doubt. Without a
That's
doubt.
great.
Yeah.
3 Little Birds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Love that song. Yeah.
What about you?
One Love.
I'm all over the place, to be honest.
Are you?
I did not, much like craft beer, I did not like country music at all. And my wife and daughter absolutely love it, so it's constantly on in the house. And it's grown on me, man. And I like anything that's got a good beat to it that I can just sit back and listen to and unplug for a minute. And
Ben's the only guy who will tell you that he doesn't really have a particular genre that he's into, but he's always got music on.
Always got music on.
Rush?
You can't.
Rush?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I just play it on repeat in the kitchen. It keeps him out of there.
Keep me out of there.
Yeah, that's how you keep them out. Yeah.
Phil Collins, all the time.
Oiten, Gleaton, Glatten, Gloatin.
He's not messing with this recipe.
Right.
Turn on Rush.
Yeah. No, it's just, if you're singing a song in your head or even out loud, you can't be in a bad mood.
No, it's definitely.
These guys play music all the time in the kitchen, and the mood difference between when there's music playing and when there's not is night and day.
Yep.
And
is there? I'm curious. How do you guys do that here? Because I know when we come and we're setting up and everything, you guys have a radio going. Do you just kind of let the crew take turns, or is that like, hey, this is Mike's job. He's in charge of the music.
Actually, it is Mike's job.
It is. Yeah.
So you're the one that's making the shots on
that's
that.
me.
He had his playlist on. Yeah.
So that's why we don't hear any Rush.
And then I just mess with him and add Phil Collins tracks in there.
There you go.
Hey, Susu Studio. Always a jam.
So in the back, you just got to get the pots and pans out there.
Yeah.
Right.
What about you guys? Where'd the roots come from? And when you got started, was it all original music? Was it covers? What were you guys doing when you first got together?
I'm like you. I'm all over the board. I'm older brother was Van Halen guy. He was Smashing Pumpkins.
Sure. Early
right?
grunge.
Yeah, early grunge.
yeah.
Obviously, Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
Right. Rage Against the Machine. Then you get into obviously Metallica.
Yeah.
And then I started switching over to my all-time favorite's James Taylor, right? And then Dave Matthews and Jack Johnson.
Yeah.
You know Jack?
For sure.
Love Jack Johnson. John Mayer. And then in college, I played football. And when you're a freshman in the locker room, you don't get to choose what's on the radio.
Right.
Right? So there's all these people from all over, and it was country on the radio. So I started listening to country over and over again, and then just got hooked on country. But I love everything. Rap, like you said, yeah, all of it. Go ahead.
I'm a huge Phil Collins fan. he's like God to me.
He's been your inspiration.
Yeah. Actually, I started out. My first song I learned how to play on guitar was "House of the Rising Sun." My dad taught me that song, and my mom was like, "Do you know what that song means?" And he's like, "I taught him how to play it, So I said, learn how to play guitar, But no, I started out with the oldie stuff as well. I grew up, my aunt and uncle, anytime I went on trips with them, it was always Motown and oldies. And then we had family reunions, and our family, my dad's side of the family was all from West Virginia, so we'd have family reunions, and believe it or not, that's all bluegrass.
Sure.
So we did all bluegrass thing. Our dad played banjo, so that was around the household. Yeah.
Little bit of picking.
Yeah. So that was there with the country, was kind of mixed in with that 90s country a lot.
Sure.
Grew up on a lot of 90s country, and then when I got into high school and everything, it was all grunge and that, and I had the flannels and the Converse shoes and thought it was the hip thing.
Yeah.
So I got into that. So I got very diverse, and then when I got into my early 20s, I totally switched, and even though I was playing country out and things like that, I was always listening to like Frank Sinatra and stuff like that, and
sure,
all those oldie things and a lot of jazz, just to get something different and try and pull different sounds and influences. Just because when you're doing the same thing all the time, especially when you're doing it like in Nashville, you can eat, sleep, breathe it, but eventually, like when you're cooking a sandwich or doing something, got to have something different going on just to change it up, different colors in the brain flowing, right? So that's I kind of went full circle as well.
Nice.
As far as everything. So I'm a lot more like you. Just
Yeah.
everything, like the Beastie Boys. We actually have a song called Flip Flops. That's it's on our number one. It's on our album. It's called One because it's the number one album. But it's a track on there called Flip Flops, and it's about my wife who wears flip flops 24/7. She even shovels snow with flip flops. But anyway, in the bridge of that song, it's very Beastie Boys. It's amazing how
It's like Paul Revere.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh yeah, it
Nice.
just jumps right in. Like it comes from this.
Me and my horse in a.
Yeah. Well, it almost,
Fill in. How's it
Yeah, I
go?
was gonna say let's hear a little. Let's hear a little bit.
she's a carefree beauty, laid back and lazy. Part beach bum. Yeah, part beach bum, part redneck crazy. You're never gonna see her with her boots on her feet. She's
That's
a flip flop girl. Toes gotta be free.
Something like that.
Nice.
Yeah,
So
something
it's very
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
it sounds a lot better on the record than it does right here. Because we're just
Spitballing.
we haven't had any beer yet, so that's usually when that happens. But so as far as Medina, do you live in Medina? Do you?
Hinkley.
You live in Medina County.
Yeah.
Both of you Medina County
I'm
residents.
Wadsworth.
So okay. So yeah, absolutely. So that makes this very, very cool to be doing the Brew Fest, have this place. I mean, part of the podcast that we try and do is focus on the local communities in northeastern Ohio, especially where we're from, which is Medina County. So
Yeah.
he grew up in Brunswick. I grew up in Brunswick and Valley City most of the time, and so
Everybody out there, are millions and millions of listeners out there.
yeah,
Come to the Blue Heron. You will not be disappointed.
yeah.
Come here, enjoy the menu, enjoy the scenery, enjoy the beer, enjoy the people. The people are great.
Yeah.
Atmosphere fantastic. We appreciate you guys
Great
giving
staff.
us some time
Thank
today.
you.
Thank you.
You guys
Yeah,
have both
appreciate it
been
as well.
very
We couldn't
kind
do
to
it without
us.
'em.
So
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Love having you guys.
Thank you guys.
you very much.
The Blue Heron Brewery. Thanks, guys.
Nice.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.